Yeah, original nature.
Okay, well, I think it's about 5 after now. Um, no, 6 after. So we'll go ahead and get started. So, Sahad, since you're new here, what we do is we usually go through whatever versions we have. So if you have a version when we get to the end, you can share your version. We kind of just establish this order. So I'll go first with my version, then Brent goes with his version, and then Paige can go with his. And if you have a version, you can share it with us. And then we just discuss it. So we have 30 minutes for each one. And then we just discuss kind of what that passage brought up for you, what it meant to you. And Paige, you have is it a direct translation? Something you translated yourself, right?
Yeah, I translate myself, and I try to be faithful. Yeah, I consider it direct translation, and however, inevitably there will be a little bit interpretation that required.
And I do appreciate you joining us here and your expertise on this. That's just amazing. It's an amazing addition to this meetup group. So I just want to express my gratitude towards you for just joining us and giving us that direct translation. So
it's my pleasure. Really, I really appreciate that opportunity and your hosting efforts and your knowledge and all the attendees knowledge and sharing. I'm looking forward continuously.
Yeah, I do too. So thank you. Thanks all around to everyone who joins and participates. So I usually always start with this one, which I call the, I don't know, common one, or it's the one that seems to be the most prevalent out there.
Yeah, very good. This one.
So 19 is what we're starting with. Give up sainthood, renounce wisdom, and it will be 100 times better for everyone. Give up kindness, renounce morality, and men will rediscover, there's that word again, filial piety and love. Give up I'm going to stumble on this word, ingenuity, there we go. Give up ingenuity, renounce profit, and bandits and thieves will disappear. These 3 are outward forms alone. They are not sufficient in themselves. It is more important to see the simplicity, to realize one's true nature, to cast off selfishness, and temper desire. Okay, next one is from this Tao box that I have here. Just these little cards. 19, it's titled Like a Child. I am singular in my truthfulness, I'm singular in my trustfulness. I am devoid of ambition. I am as innocent as a babe. I am a waif, a stray, a child without a home. All others have an excuse of things, and I am as one abandoned. How foolish and simple I am. I am bewildered. Everyone sparkles with intelligence, I alone in my obscurity. I am tossed about like the ocean. I wander and I am never at rest. Everyone has something to do. I alone am incapable and without merit. I alone am estranged from the people, but I glory at the breast of my mother.
That's 19? That's 19? Seriously?
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
Wow.
No, this was ordered wrongly. This should have been 20, Alex.
Does that sound more like, this sounds like 20,
that's 20,
right?
Yeah.
The cards do this sometimes. So I guess we got a preview then.
Do you want to read 20?
Okay, yes.
Do you want to read the one the real one? Would that be 20?
I'm not sure.
It's shorter.
I'm not gonna mess with it because these cards they could have just skipped one, so that happens. I'll just reread it when we get to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, next one I have is The Essential Tao by Thomas Erie. Eliminate stagnancy, abandon knowledge, and the people benefit 100-fold. Eliminate humanitarianism, abandon duty, and the people return to familiar love. Eliminate craft, abandon profit, and theft will no longer exist. These three become insufficient and used for embellishment, causing there to be attachments. See the basic, embrace the unspoiled, lessen selfishness, diminish desire. I have one more, but I have to let our little guest in. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, this isn't normal, but I've been really busy at work lately, and
Don't worry.
it's just really been missing me, and feeling kind of abandoned, I guess. So, just wanted to let you know it's not a normal thing. Just instead of him making all kinds of noise. So I'm reading right now, sweetie. Okay, can you be patient? Okay, and this is from the Tao Te Ching by Ursula K. Le Guin. I don't know if you've heard of her. But being different. How much difference between yes and no? What difference between good and bad?
This is
What?
20.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be doing 19.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
I had the wrong paper. Distracted tonight. Okay, sorry. Raw silk and uncut wood is the way this one is titled. Stop being holy. Forget being prudent. It'll be 100 times better for everyone. Stop being altruistic. Forget being righteous. People will remember that what family feeling is. Stop planning. Forget making a profit. There won't be any thieves and robbers. But even these 3 rules needn't be followed. What works reliably is to know the raw silk, hold the uncut wood, need little, want less, forget the rules, be untroubled. Okay, there we go. There's my 4. And I'm going to mute myself, so.
All right. Do you want me to go? Okay. Okay, this is Stephen Mitchell. It isn't a translation. It's he looked at a lot of different ones and then came up with his own. Okay, so throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these 3 aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. Short and sweet.
It's my turn.
Would you like me to go, Ness, or
Oh,
Paige?
yeah, okay. Yeah, no, you go. You go.
Okay, I'll go. So I don't have the Tao Te Ching book. I just kind of look it up online. So the one I'm looking at is on Pinterest. So I don't know which one it belongs. Sounds like the one from Brent. So throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these 3 aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course.
Exactly. Mine. Yeah, exactly. Stephen Mitchell.
Okay, let me read my own translation. And I'm using my phone. I see. I don't know if it works. If I switch to another
It works.
web page, it works. Okay, that's good.
Just lost your face.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's good. Oh. it refresh the pages. I need to screw up and screw down and find the verse again. It won't take long. Almost there. Okay. Here's my version. Stop being virtuous and give up intelligence. Citizens shall benefit 100-fold. Stop humanity and give up righteousness. Citizens shall return to sonly dutifulness and motherly love. Stop being clever and give up profiting. Bandits and thieves shall go away. These three sentences are merely inadequate for the topic. More must be added. Seeing things in their original nature and embrace the original source. Lessen your selfishness and curtail your desires. That's it.
Hey, G, would you mind sharing that in a chat or screen sharing? It'd be helpful to look at it.
Okay. Yes.
I'm not sure you can with the phone, right? Or is that capable? Can you share screens with phones?
Let me see if I can.
Or just in the chat.
Maybe I just cut and paste to see.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So yeah, that was I considered how the original text is written. Although I do had a bit of interpretation in relation to the original source. The original source was written in a character which really represents a undressed wood.
A what?
Undressed wood. Undressed wood. Wood.
Undressed wood?
Yeah, so like
wood,
the uncut
a piece of log. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So that reflects the original source, like in the metaphor, manifestation metaphor. That wood is cut for various devices. And that undressed was representing its original nature. No, it's not dressed up, no makeup, and also it's a source. It's been cut for making various devices, like the metaphor for the manifestation. All the beings are manifested through this source. So the author is asking us to return to the original source, which is back to our original nature. That is even more profitable than having humanity, rule of law, and try to be clever, try to run a country by intelligence. So let me find as soon as I switch between the page lost again. It's very interesting. Yeah, that's because I'm using I'll tell you what, I can't do this right now because this web page does not even allow me to cut and paste things, but I will share the link as a comment after the session, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. The only reason is the way you wrote it, is so much more helpful to understanding the the kind of elusiveness of it, because it makes sense, but it feels like a little bit still vague. But then when you break it down, it gives more clues to what that means. So that's why I was hoping to take a look at it real quick.
Indeed. In fact, I haven't read the notes I put there because it's a bit hard without you seeing the original text. I do have various points. I have the notes explain. But yeah, I'll provide the link. And the next time when I back home, right now I'm in a holiday resort, and which I can only use my phone. Don't know how to operate. Yeah, once I got home next time, I should be able to share the screen again, I hope. So this since I'm on a mixed I just want to say that the message, the takeaway message from me is about the author is trying to emphasize our original nature, which is most important. Then all the knowledge, the intelligence with that.
Yeah,
I think
one
it's-
thing struck. Oh, go ahead, Brent.
I think it's really interesting how this works. You know, like throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. In other words, like don't impose your particular sense of truth on other people if they can't see it yet. It's a waste of time. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Yeah, because when you harp on things and you try to tell somebody what to do, that doesn't work out so hot. You
Yeah,
know.
you've got to have that rebel, right?
Yeah,
Gotta
exactly.
go against everything.
And then I like this the best: throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. I mean, that's great. If you haven't got money sloshing around that can be stolen, then thieves don't need it. So I don't know. I like this particular chapter here. It says some very interesting things.
And I
Guys,
think
can you guys hear me?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Alice, you were going to say something. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, I thought another line from this one that kind of sums up also the without profit there is no thieves, is the need little, want less. I think that struck me just because of my experience right now with Peace Pilgrim, and just reading that and kind of embracing that only keep what you need attitude of simplicity and I wouldn't call it anti-materialism, but she just realized that she's so much freer without all this stuff. And as we read before in other things, stuff just ends up leading to misery. It's just stuff, stuff that can get stolen, stuff that can break, stuff that can all go up in a fire, hopefully that wouldn't happen to anybody, but still, just think of how much freer you'd be without all that stuff. She says, quote, that all I have on me is what I'm wearing and what's in my pockets. I can get up anytime I want and go wherever I want without any worry or care. So she's all, that's freedom. That's true freedom. Yeah. So what were you going to say?
Hi, sorry. I keep interrupting you, Alice. My apologies. I'm trying to figure out if it's working or not. But so one thing I felt, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Paige, from your analysis, is that actually what it's saying for me is that these things look like that and people get stuck in the appearance of it, but it's a natural truth, right? So like, if people really knew what something was, it wouldn't be necessary to explain it. So for example, if people say, well, throw away holiness and wisdom, people will be 100 times happier. It is within your nature to have to do the right thing. But because we label this as righteousness, people get confused by the appearance of it. And it's actually just a knowing. So like when you talk about throw away morality and justice, people will just do the right thing, because if you just let yourself experience your intuition, instead of saying you should do this because it's right, you should just do it because you should. So like, for example, when someone's like, don't kill someone, you just feel like there's inherent right for someone to exist versus you're just following the law. So basically, I think what they're saying is don't get distracted by the labels we put on things or the identities we put on these things. Understand what these things were meant to be, and then you'll understand why they exist. So they're not made like that. They came to be because we gave them identity. So I think another thing was like, throw away industry and profit and there won't be any thieves, because people think that industry and profit is how you develop your worth. But industry and profit just is an outcome of us being efficient and wanting to get better and better. And so people think they need to attain that to find worth, when instead it's just they're inherently worthy, and the creativity creates industry and stuff. And why I think that what it's saying all of these things is just basically, if you don't understand any of what we're saying here, these three things, just sit and let things unfold and you'll get it. So I think it's more of like, and I don't, I think that's what they're like, don't get distracted by the identity of things because they're just made up by us. There is a core to them that is like intuitive to you, and trust that intuition first before you get distracted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And in fact,
Beautiful. Actually, I just want to stop and say that real quick. Sorry, Peishi.
Yeah, no worries.
That is beautiful what you shared. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's a wonderful insight. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. It's a wonderful insight, yeah, sharing. I just want to add that, in fact, very much the reflect of what you just shared. That there is another line from the book is about the best teaching is actually without the words. That's in verse 2. Made it very clear. Actually, repeated a few times. Along with the non-doing, the best thing is non-doing wu, and the best teaching is without the words. And as soon as you preach people, you throw the concept to them, to the others. The others may not necessarily you buy it, may not actually necessarily be persuaded in any way. But if this is coming from our original nature, is from individual, and then you really don't need to promote anything.
Unfortunately, in our evolutionary process of waking up to truth, we're inundating children with the way things are, in the way we see things, because that's what we did, went through when we were kids. So this whole process is not going to change until individuals start waking up and then having kids and allowing them to discover truth and not be pushy about what they think is true. So that it's perfect. It's a perfect example of exactly what's wrong. I mean, it's a perfect example of what's wrong with things, and a perfect way to get out of it. And it's interesting. This was written thousands. Well, I don't know how many thousand years ago it was written, but it was written like a long time ago. And here we are after all this evolution, and we're still in the thick of it. So it's a slow process of waking up to truth.
I don't really have much to add to any of. I mean, you guys all put it so beautifully. I feel so blessed. Just another one that kind of stood out for me, and it's along the same lines as what Shahad was saying, is the forget being righteous and stuff, and then you will discover love. And for me, that just means that true divine love. So I think a lot of the religions in the world get caught up in what you have to do, and you have to check so many boxes, and you have to do this and you have to do that, when all you really have to do is just listen, and divine love is there with you always. You just have to listen. Elon, Brent, has been going through this kind of existential crisis recently, and is that he's like, I don't, all this stuff I've read and all this stuff I've done, and he just wants to throw it all out the window. And he's like, because shouldn't I already be there? Isn't divine love already here? Aren't I already connected to everything? Why do I have to do anything at all? Shouldn't it just already come naturally? And we had a long discussion, and I was like, well, unfortunately, and just like what you said, Brent, no, it doesn't come naturally, because we weren't raised that way. We weren't raised to listen. We were taught to be in the world of the tonal, the material, the illusion, whatever you want to call it. That's the way we've been programmed. So yes, it does take active effort and practice, as I told him, to undo. So just like what you're saying, Peji, the undoing. We have to undo it all this, I don't want to say crap, but that's kind of what it is. All this crap we've learned and the way we've been programmed by society, We have to undo it all, and it takes practice, and just sitting and reading stuff like this and listening to how those words feel as you're reading them. And that's why, Shahad, when you described that, it like clicked. I was like, whoa, that's it. I got that feeling, that feeling of truth, that and so yes, it takes practice every day. And I've been really into the mindfulness kick, and that's the key, is just to listen, because it's all there. You just have to remember, as Elon and I say a lot, you just have to remember it.
Yeah, it's being broadcast from within. You know, you listen to your own resonance to recognize truth, and it's always inside. Um, so yeah, the external world is really an interesting trinket, you know, that grabs the attention of our minds, but it's not fulfilling. And it's obvious that money doesn't work because the people that have the most of it are crazy as anybody else is. So it's nice to know these things.
Does anyone else have anything to say on that? If not, we can just move on to the next one. Yeah, because I hope, Shahad, you're able to come to some more in the future, because those kind of insights is just, that just blew me away.
Yeah, I'd love to. I didn't know there was a thing like this. It was really great. Like I found you by accident today and I was like, ah, yes.
Accident? Was it accident?
That's true. That's true.
That tells a lot about the initiative, Alice, you took to host. That's a really great initiative.
Well, I don't take credit myself, because just like an accident, it's just, I'm compelled to do these things. So we're all one. So that's my purpose, I guess. And I'm just happy to share it, because it enriches my life, and therefore, in turn, it enriches everybody's life, since we're all connected. So.
And your kids are going to be a good representation of how far you've come as they continue to get older and older and reflect back to you what they've learned from you.
Wow. And that's another. It's funny because Elon and I were talking about this the other day too. And I'm sorry to go on a tangent. I hope you guys don't mind. Can I go on a small tangent? I asked him, and I was like, so how many of these enlightened people, like Eckhart Tolle or Rupert Shira or all the Indian people, so anyhow, these enlightened people that call themselves masters and stuff, gurus, how many of them have kids? How many of them had kids? How many have had that life experience? I asked him, that you know of. And he's like, Rupert Spira supposedly had a daughter, but that's the only one I know of that has actually had kids. And when I was younger, I would have to say that's the closest I was to enlightenment. I won't go into that now, but I've had experiences that really just opened my eyes to the magic of the world, and that how we are creators just with our thoughts alone. But after I had children, I just realized it is much more of a test. It's hard to put into words, but they kind of take this energy from you. Not in like a bad way, but so I find this now. I'm in a different period of my life where I'm looking at this as, wow, this is just another challenge. I created this for myself. This is supposed to be my path in life this time around. And I guess I needed to have that extra complication in order to accomplish this place where I'm supposed to be. So if that makes any sense. But it is an extra added challenge, but it is possible. Because even Peace Pilgrim, who I've been talking about a lot, she didn't even have children. So she was able to just take off on this pilgrimage. She didn't really have any connections. But so I have this extra added, well, I have these connections. I'm going to have these connections the rest of my life. And I want to cherish them. I look at them as an opportunity to really experience divine love, to experience mindfulness, compassion. Because if you've ever had a 3-year-old, they'll just have temper tantrums for no reason. And so you have to sit there and like be compassionate even if you have no idea why they're screaming their head off. But you just have to show them unconditional compassion and love and understanding and comfort. And be mindful be mindful with all these weird little moments you have. So it's a great opportunity, and I feel blessed, even though it might be a little bit more challenging. So, okay, I'll stop now. Any comments on that?
Yeah, one comment. I think something we can actually learn a lot more from parenting than learn from reading the spiritual books.
If you're not a tyrant.
Well, if you're a tyrant, I doubt you'd be reading stuff like this. Okay, so moving on to 20.
Wow.
20. Give up learning and put an end to your troubles. Is there a difference between yes and no? Is there a difference between good and evil? Must I fear what others fear? What nonsense. Other people are contented, enjoying the sacrificial feast of the ox. In spring, some go to the park and climb the terrace. But I alone am drifting, not knowing where I am, like a newborn babe before it learns to smile. I alone, without a place to go. Others have more than they need, but I alone have nothing. I am a fool. Oh, yes, I am confused. Other men are clear and bright, but I alone am dim and weak. Other men are sharp and clever, but I alone am dull and stupid. Oh, I drift like the waves of the sea, without discretion, like the restless wind. Everyone else is busy, but I alone am aimless and depressed. I am different. I am nourished by the Great Mother. Peiji, before I continue, can you read yours, since I know you might have to leave early?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, mine is pretty close. This one I always, this book I love. The interpretation is very good, very close. And let me read mine. I hope my accent will not dampen your understanding without seeing the words. I'm just switch to the website, and again, and I need to find this. Okay, here it is. Okay, here's my own translation. Stop study, and there will be no anxiety. How much difference is there between yes and no? How far removed is it from good to bad? Must I fear what others fear? Alas, how remote is all that from awakening? People are merry, merry, as if they are enjoying the great sacrificial feast, as if they are staging a show in spring. I alone am unmoved and expressionless, like a newborn, not yet learned to smile, weary and weary, as if there is no place to call home. People have more than enough, but I'm left out. Oh, my mind seems like a fool, muddled and muddled. The worldly are showy, showy. I'm gloomy, gloomy. The world are sharp, sharp. I'm mum, mum. Floating as if I'm in the ocean, drifting as if I have nowhere to rest. People have purpose, but I'm stubborn like the uncivilized. I alone am different from others in appreciating the nursing mother. That's the end.
Thank you. So yeah, don't forget to post those in the chat. You can probably do that now if there's a link, and I'll make sure to grab them before I log off. So I can get those up on the meetup, and that's where I'll post them. So
okay.
So we already read this one, but let's read the card again. Like a child, I am singular in my trustfulness. I am devoid of ambition. I am innocent as a babe. I am a waif, a stray, a child without a home. All others have excess of things, and I am as one abandoned. How foolish and simple I am. I am bewildered. Everyone sparkles with intelligence. I alone in my obscurity. I am tossed about like the ocean. I wander and am never at rest. Everyone has something to do. I alone am incapable and without merit. I alone am estranged from the people, but I glory at the breast of my mother. We have entertainment over here. I read. Detach from learning and you have no worries. How far apart are yes and yea? How far apart are good and bad? The things that people fear cannot be feared. Wild indeed, the uncentered. Most people celebrate as if they were barbecuing a slaughtered cow or taking in the springtime vistas. I alone am aloof, showing no sign, like an infant that doesn't yet smile. Riding buoyantly, as if with nowhere to go. Most people have too much. I alone seem to be missing something. Mine is indeed the mind of an ignoramus in its unadulterated simplicity. Ordinary people try to shine. I alone seem to be dark. Ordinary people try to be on the alert. I alone am unobtrusive. Calm as the ocean depths, buoyant as if anchored nowhere. Most people have ways and means. I alone am unsophisticated and simple. I alone am different from people in that I value seeking food from the mother. And finally, Ursula, which I started reading, I think. Being different. How much different between yes and no? What difference between good and bad? What the people fear must be feared. Oh, desolation. Not yet has it reached its limit. Everybody's cheerful, cheerful as if at a party or climbing a tower in springtime. And here I sit unmoved, clueless, like a child, a babe too young to smile. Forlorn, like a homeless person. Most people have plenty. I am the one that's poor, a fool right through. Ignorant, oh, ignorant. Most people are so bright. I'm the one that's dull. Most people are so keen. I don't have answers. Oh, I'm desolate at sea, adrift without harbor. Everybody has something to do. I am the clumsy one, out of place. I am the different one, for my food is the milk of the mother. All I got.
Okay, I'll read Stephen Mitchell's. Is that coming from your side, Alice? Where is that noise coming from?
Oh, must be mine. Let me unmute.
Okay. Okay. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about, like someone without a home. I am like an idiot. My mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. Other people have a purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I drink from the Great Mother's breasts.
So I'm gonna read. I found this like website that has just translation by people, kind of like Teiji translated it, and one I thought was really helpful. Be done with knowing and your worries will disappear. How much difference is there between yes and no? How much distinction between good and evil? Fearing what others fear, admiring what they admire. Nonsense. Conventional people are jolly and reckless, feasting on worldly things and carrying on as though every day were the beginning of spring. I alone remain uncommitted, like an infant who hasn't yet smiled, lost, quietly drifting, unattached to ideas and places and things. Conventional people hoard more than they need, but I possess nothing at all. Know nothing at all, understand nothing at all. They are bright, I am dark. They are sharp, I am dull. Like the sea, I am calm and indifferent. Like the wind, I have no particular direction. Everyone else takes his place and does his job. I alone remain wild and natural and free. I am different from others. My sustenance comes directly from the mother.
I really like that last part. Finally, your version that you shared, Sahad, it actually brought it home to me. So again, here I go with Peace Pilgrim. So when she was on the road, she said, I only I only eat what people offer me, and I only sleep when I am given shelter. So she truly just left it all up to the universe, or God, or whatever you wanted to call it. She was very ambiguous about it too. She would call it love. Sometimes she would call it God. But she recognized that the universe provides, as Elon and I used to say, and as I had actually experienced once in my life, just stuff would just like manifest for me. It was weird. But so yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So this person that's unattached, and Peace Program also talks about unattachment. So being unattached, and free, that the universe provides, as long as you know you're at peace with yourself. Nothing really else matters at that point.
I just want to share my understanding this verse before I have to, leave. One thing I observed is this verse is actually quite unique. Unique in the sense that the author is actually talking about his or her feeling, which is quite different from all other verses. The author tried to outline what had been observed, but this one is really about inner feeling, which is quite interesting. It can be, I mean, it's how to say. Initially, I got a initial reaction to this verse is, wow, the author is whinging. You feel a sense of loss, when seeing others are enjoying and have enough. And but after get a more insight, and I start to share the same sentiment of what the author had. When I feel I'm doing something different from others, and yet feel sense of enjoying, and feel like that's how it's really aligned with our original nature, and things like that. So since I often think about this verse whenever I took this as like encouragement, personally, to live in a way more aligned with the nature.
AJ, I feel you on that so much because one of my favorite books is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And when you read Meditations, you realize all of that stuff is for him, right? It's for him to encourage himself to keep being a Stoic. And so when you said that about this passage, that's what it feels like. It's really lonely. And so it's in a way like he's writing it for himself to say, like, hey, it's okay. Like, it's, sometimes I wonder when I have an understanding of something, sometimes it just feels really like you're all alone with it and nobody quite gets it. And you're like, why don't people understand this? It's so much better for them to get it this way, and they don't. And you kind of feel like, are you the crazy one? Or and then you realize, well, no, you're just one of the few that get it, and it's sad, right? It's a sad thing, but it's a celebration at the same time. And also, like, I've had people tell me you're delusional, I don't, you're crazy, and it's like, oh man, I guess I am. Like, it's just you don't get it, but okay, whatever. And so yeah, Paige, I so appreciate you saying that, because it is kind of like for us, the people who get it, it's an encouragement to be like, you are okay, you're right, that's normal. It's normal to feel like you're all alone in it. So.
Do you get a sense of loneliness from it? Sorry, Brent. Yeah, Paige, do you get a sense of loneliness from the author?
Yeah.
Is there
yeah.
I do.
He feels like, he feels like, it feels like for him, he feels like he's all alone in this understanding, and other people don't get it, and they don't, like, they think they get it, and it's so sad, right? It's like so lonesome, because you know how sometimes, Alice, you could be like with your friend and you understand what she's going through, and you're telling her what she's going through, and she's like, no, Alice, you don't get it, like there's this and that and that, and you're like, no, I'm telling you, honey, like this is what's happening to you. And she's like, no, you just don't know, so don't tell me, kind of thing. How you've had that girlfriend that just tells you, and you're like, no, I see it, let me tell you what I see the bigger picture. And that's what it feels like. You feel alone in that understanding, and you're trying to help people, and they just don't see it. And so you're like, at some point you have to encourage yourself and be like, I care about her, so I'm going to keep telling her this thing, even though all her other friends don't see it, but I'm the only one who sees it. So you kind of like, it's the same that way. Does that make sense? Because I brought it into girl talk, because that's where I feel the most alone.
It's true. It's true. I feel the same way sometimes. I mean, I've got a friend I talk to once in a while. He's very intellectual. He doesn't get it at all, and I try to tell him, and he thinks he's already got it figured out, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And yeah, and especially if it's like a really important truth that you've realized, and there's nobody around to talk to. But when you can find somebody to discuss it with that understands, that makes it worthwhile. That really does. I wouldn't trade it for being stupid. Even though it's lonely sometimes, there's always somebody to reach out to. If I reach out to a lot of people on Zoom, and about half of them respond, and so we'll have a Zoom, and we'll talk about all this stuff, and it's really nice. It's really nice to do that.
Yeah, this group is so awesome for me, you guys. You have no idea. Like, this has, like you said, there are no accidents, Alice. Like, this was just kind of like, oh my gosh, they get it. They're doing something I've always wanted to do. And I was the only one between all my friends that read the Tao Te Ching. And I tell people, oh, do you know anything about the Tao Te Ching? They're like, say what?
I actually have a different viewpoint. I actually have never felt that sense of loneliness, even though I am I don't know anybody else besides Elon, my friend Elon, that that believes what I do, or is into the stuff that I am.
You don't have time to be lonely.
Good job. But I can see that. I mean, there's been times in my life, as a teenager that, I felt like an outcast or whatever. And I've had that sense of, loneliness from being different and on the outskirts of stuff. But I guess now what the difference is and why that sense of loneliness doesn't encompass me, because my husband and I we don't have this. Yeah, we're totally different. He doesn't agree with anything I believe. So it's like I can't share that part of myself with him. But the sense of knowing, right? You talked about earlier, Shahad, that sense of knowing that you get. And even though, I might be different, I might be adrift, I might be aloof, I might, no one else maybe shares my same viewpoints, and I feel like an outcast. And even though they're smiling, I'm not. I don't even know how to smile, because I've been in that place where you kind of feel numb. I have been, and it's like, and I can't describe it. It's more like a mindset where all of a sudden you're just numb. I don't even feel love. I don't feel anything. But it's comfortable. I mean, comfortably numb. it's kind of neat not having, anger, sadness, or whatever. But at the same time, when you have a sense of knowing or a sense of purpose or just that connection with spirit or whatever you want to call it, that loneliness disappears because you feel connected to everything and everyone. So that's just another perspective on that. But
it's almost like you realize when you're lonely sometimes that the reason you feel that way is because you're identified with being a separate person, not because you're into oneness. When you're into oneness, you can't feel lonely because there's almost no one there to feel lonely because it's just all one thing.
Exactly.
So on your comment, Alice, which I really appreciate. So I'm a Christian. And so there's this two aspects of it, right? There's like the flesh aspect, and then there's the God aspect, right? We are sort of, if I can say it in a secular way, we are a spiritual being having a human experience, right? And so it's the human experience that is what makes you feel lonely. So even though you're connected to the knowing or the Tao or the God or whatever, however you want to see it, right? Like, even though you're connected to that, you're still flesh, like you're still a human, and your human desire still exists. And so when you want other people you want to be belonging with people, with flesh, and they don't want to see what you see, that's the lonely part. And so the encouragement is saying, like, I think that's what he's saying. I could be wrong, but this human experience is going to feel weird if you are in touch with the Tao. And that's kind of affirming that you are enlightened, right? So as an enlightened being, you're gonna be in a super weird spot where you get something and they don't get it, and it's gonna feel lonely because your flesh feels lonely. But in truth, you're not. So it's like two things are happening at the same time, and it's really confusing sometimes. So that's kind of how I felt it. So you're right about, like, you wouldn't feel lonely if you're connected to the Tao, but what happens when you're both human and spirit, right? Like, that's when you're confused, and loneliness is still part of that experience, reminding you that you're still human, which sucks, because I'd love to live in the, like, spiritual world. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to go to a cave and just, like, be with the Tao, the God, or whatever it is, right? I just want to be there, and I just want to die, just connect. And it's like, but that's not useful. There's no purpose being fulfilled in that.
No, I've been exactly where you are, and so has Elon. I talk about Elon enough, but he's been part of this a couple times.
I gotta go. Nice meeting you. I hope to see you again, Shahad, and I'll see you guys next time.
Really nice to see you,
Yeah,
Brent.
thank you for joining us, Brent.
Bye bye.
Bye.
And he talks about this wanting, exactly what he said, kind of wanting to die. It's just like sometimes it's so difficult. It's like an uphill struggle every day to be in that spiritness, I guess. What I can't remember what you said, the spirit body or the flesh body. And he's like, I just don't want to be here anymore. And he used to say that a lot. But it wasn't in the sense of like wanting to like kill yourself or anything like that. It wasn't in like a depression sense, but it was just like, I just want to be back to that. I want to just remember everything. Cause yeah, on this path, you get like little glimpses of what it could be if we were just that energy being again, or that spiritual being again, and united with God. It just, you get those little glimpses of heaven, as you know, as Christians would say. And it's so hard to just get a taste of that and not want to just be there all the time. But I'll tell you now, that if you just stay on this path and you keep practicing, you can. If you have not read Peace Pilgrim, I highly suggest it. You can get it for free. I have some links out there on some past meetups, but she talks about that. She is an enlightened being. There's been one point where she's connected to God, and she's like, I never have to leave anymore. I've reached the mountaintop, and I'm constantly in this state of connection with God. And it just, I can't paraphrase, because it's just, it's so beautiful just to hear that. And I've seen some interviews. I looked up some interviews. There's actually interviews on YouTube, and you can just tell she's genuine. And I hope you're not offended by this, but I often say, to me, she's the closest thing to Christ, that if he were to come back, she's it. She's like that second coming, or whatever you want to call it. I have never experienced. I wish I would have met her. She lived while I was alive.
So no, I'm so appreciative that you're sharing that. Just to kind of, no offense at all. I was an atheist for 16 years, and I only became a Christian like a couple of months ago. So that's why I'm still on this. That's why I look at things much broader than just Christianity, because Christianity is just a story, and it's one way to get connected to God or the Tao or whatever it is, right? So, but can you repeat her name again, because I didn't quite catch that.
Peace
In the
Pilgrim.
book.
She left her identity behind when she went on her pilgrimage. And
okay. So,
and it's actually, I think there's just like peacepilgrim.org or something, and you can actually request, you can either get the digital copy, or you can actually request them to send you a copy free. She even puts in there that you can copy this book as long as you're using it to uplift enlightened people. So she explicitly made sure that people didn't charge for this book. And
that's beautiful.
It's just, it is
read it.
So inspirational. And it's actually what got me into this mindfulness practice, because I just realized I went through so much in my life thinking that this is all woo-woo, stuff, even though I had my experiences. It's difficult, but I realized through mindfulness and just listen to spirit. I pray myself, because it's a very powerful way to connect to spirit or the Tao.
When I was an atheist, I like just thought this is all bullshit. Like I thought, it's just kind of illusions for the mentally weak, right? I thought I was the epitome of intelligence and reason. So it was very humbling to realize that I was actually not that smart.
I don't think it has to do with intelligence, really, but
in my mind, for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't think all atheists think that. It's Shahad's mind that thought that. Like I would never put a blanket statement on atheists at all, because we're not a monolith.
Yeah, no, I know plenty of atheists in my circles. What was that, Peijing? Did you?
Oh,
yeah, I
think
would
you're
just want to mention that I have posted my translation for verse
Thank you.
19 and 20 in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I saw 19. I didn't see 20. Oh, okay, there it is. Awesome. I got it. I already posted 19 out there on the meetup, so I'll post this before we end tonight. And I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
doing that, Peijing.
Yeah, thank you, Paige, so much. Guys, I
You're
have to
welcome.
head out, but this has been so wonderful, and I'm so grateful to you guys. Thank you. This is amazing. I'm so happy that I found you guys. I will be here often, and I will bug you guys. So have a happy new year, and I'll see you next week, right? Is it next week that we have the next one?
Every other
Yeah,
week.
In 2 weeks time, I
Yeah,
think.
every 2
In
weeks.
2 weeks.
Mm.
Okay, in 2 weeks.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for sharing your time and your insights. And
Yeah.
you're such a blessing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Alice. Thank
Uh-huh.
you.